shall we straight away start the session? Type yes on the chat section and we'll start the session then. I can see a lot of excitement. That's great. That's great. Fantastic. Fantastic. Great. Lovely. One request to everyone, whosoever has any sort of query or any sort of doubt, keep it for the last. We'll have a Q&A, right? You can, whenever you have any doubt, you can note it down somewhere or you can send it in the chat as well. And we will take the questions, as many as possible, at the end of the presentation. I hope I'm clear, right? And we'll then start the session, right? So I'll just start sharing my screen right now. So today's session's objective is to learn about how to create a resume that gets shortlisted for an interview. Now, in a job search process, there are multiple steps that appears when you are looking for a job. But the most basic, yet the most neglected and the underrated step is creating resume. And what happens when job seekers, they apply for job, the resumes are not getting shortlisted and eventually they're not getting the job. Then what happens? Frustrations, sadness, and feel lagta hai ki yaar kya ho raha hai mere sath. Then the final thing which comes in the mind ki India mein job nahi hai. But that is completely a wrong notion. I will tell you in the next 1 hour, I will explain each and every bit of how you can create a resume that gets shortlisted for almost all the interviews that you apply for. But before that, I'll also explain about the importance of resume in the job search, because your resume is not just a piece of paper. 80 to 85% of job seekers treat resume as just a piece of paper, but that is not the right way. I'll tell you the importance. In the next 15 minutes, you'll start giving the highest of importance to your resume. And at the last, we will talk about how to modify your resume as per the job description you are applying for, right? So the first thing we'll talk about is the importance of resume. But I would like every one of you to keep all the distractions aside, like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it is, for the next 1 hour. Keep everything aside so that we can learn and gain knowledge in the next 1 hour, right? So, and if possible, have a notebook in your hand, pen in your hand, and take notes. So you can see a picture of a tree out here. Now, what is the actual outcome when it comes to a tree? It is fruits, flowers. Exactly. Thank you so much, Nihal. Fruits, flowers, shade, and all those things. Now, let's consider this entire tree as a job search process. Why the tree is standing tall and it lasts for so long? Because of its strong root. If the root is not strong, if the base is not strong, eventually the tree is going to fall down. Even in buildings as well, if the foundation is not strong, a small earthquake can collapse the building. Similarly, if you want the outcome as a job offer, then your resume and your LinkedIn profile has to be the strongest. LinkedIn profile optimization, all those things, that's a topic for some other day. But today only we are going to focus on resume, and that is most important, right? Now, consider your resume as your own marketing catalog. You must have visited a lot of shopping malls or maybe some other like metro stations and all. You will see people distributing pamphlets out there. आपने काफी सारे एंट्रेंस एग्जाम्स दिए होंगे. जब भी हम एग्जाम सेंटर से बाहर निकलते हैं, वहां पे कुछ लोग खड़े रहते हैं, पैम्फलेट्स बांटते रहते हैं. क्यों? वो किसी इंस्टीट्यूट का या फिर किसी भी कंपनी का एडवर्टाइजमेंट करते रहते हैं, ब्रांड को प्रमोट करते रहते हैं. Similarly, consider from now onwards, from this second onwards, consider yourself as a brand. Consider yourself as a personal brand. And that's why consider your resume as your marketing catalog. Give that much importance to your resume, because your resume, being your own branding and marketing catalog, is going to help you get shortlisted for job interviews, right? Because your resume is the first thing that a recruiter or a hiring manager sees about you. Interview बाद में आता है. आपका जो भी knowledge है, आपने जो बात करनी है, वो सब interview में होगा. लेकिन उससे पहले इंटरव्यू तक पहुंचने के लिए सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है रेज्यूमे. And that's why you need to treat your resume as your branding catalog and yourself as a personal brand, right? I hope I have made this clear and the importance. Now, the next thing we are going to discuss is different parts of resume, which we must include in a resume. And along with discussing all these parts, we will also talk about what mistakes generally job seekers do while creating a mistake and how to rectify those mistakes or how to avoid those mistakes. We'll go through one by one and we'll understand everything in detail. The first part of a resume, which is the most basic and common part, is your primary contact information. The primary contact information means your name, your location, your email ID, your contact number, and your link to the LinkedIn profile, which is very important because nowadays what happens, recruiters, they don't have a lot of time. So what they do is they just open the LinkedIn profile and they just scroll through the LinkedIn profile. And if they like it, they select the candidate and call them for the interview. That's how it happens as well in most of the recruiters' case. But in most of the cases, resume is also important. So that is why the first thing is primary contact information. That is your name. Location, if you want to write, you can. If you don't want to, don't write, but at least write the city from which you belong to. Because sometimes location preference is also considered and they sometimes recruiter look out for candidates from a specific location. That is the reason why location, you must mention location. Email ID and phone number is a must, right? And that's about primary contact information. The next part, which is, in my opinion, the most important part of a resume, and that is a summary. Now, a lot of people must be wondering that whether you should include a summary or a career objective. I remember when I was appearing for job interviews in my engineering college. तो इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में हमें एक फॉर्मेट दिया गया था, ठीक है, और उसी फॉर्मेट को सारे स्टूडेंट्स को फॉलो करना था. उस फॉर्मेट में करियर ऑब्जेक्टिव करके एक सेक्शन था और उसमें मैंने ये करियर ऑब्जेक्टिव लिखा था कि to work in a reputed organization where I can utilize my knowledge and skills and work with dedication to bring out the results which will meet the demands of the organization. ये मेरा करियर ऑब्जेक्टिव था उस टाइम. बट ये करियर ऑब्जेक्टिव से रिक्रूटर को क्या फर्क पड़ता है? ये हमारे ऑब्जेक्टिव के बारे में बता रहा है, राइट? बट रिक्रूटर को इससे कोई मतलब नहीं है. रिक्रूटर को ये चाहिए कि आप उनको क्या डिलीवर कर सकते हो, आप अपने नॉलेज और स्किल्स के बेसिस पे उनको क्या दे सकते हो, उनको क्या आउटपुट मिलेगा अगर आपको वो हायर करे तो. एंड दैट इज द रीजन व्हाई यू शुड avoid writing a career objective in the second part after personal information, and you need to write a summary. Now, a summary is nothing but a 2 to 3 lines conclusion about yourself, which can include your aspiration, what you want to become, what exactly you have done, your skills, and one thing about something related to your personal liking and all. It should be 2 to 3 lines, interesting and unique. And it should focus on very important things. Like, as you can see over here, I have highlighted the frontline marketing part. Why? Because frontline marketing was something which I was doing when I was working in a corporate. I was going into, say, I'm going to the field and I was talking to the customers and I was doing frontline marketing, right? Marketing and strategy, when I was working with Geo Creative Labs, I was only and only working for advertisement campaigns and marketing and strategy. And that's why I mentioned it over here. Then I mentioned the skills because this is a sample resume, which I just created as a sample for such sessions purpose so that I can train the participants, right? And I made this resume just for a digital marketing role, right? And that's the reason why you can see the skills are SEO, SEM, Google AdWords, display marketing, and all those. So you have to write the skills. Why I said in the beginning that summary is the most important part of the resume, because when a recruiter is physically scanning through the resume, on an average, they take 6 to 7 seconds to go through a resume, max to max 6 to 7 seconds. And that's a world average, right? Now, if the summary is great, if the summary is exciting, if somebody is reading your summary and they're like, oh my God, this guy is good, this girl is good, let me go through all the other parts of the resume. The summary is going to push the recruiter to go through all the other parts. And that is the reason why your summary has to be kick-ass. If your summary is not good, they are not going to read the work experience part, the coursework, the project, the skills, nothing. They're not going to read it. Summary acha nahi laga, resume gaya, rejected. That is the reason why summary is the most important, because that will push the recruiter to read all the other sections. And I hope I have made this very, very clear. Now, next is work experience. Now, this is only applicable for people who have work experience. For freshers, don't worry, बताऊंगा आपको क्या करना है. Now, the work experience has to be in reverse chronological order. The last job which you have done or which you are currently doing has to be at the top. And that has to be explained in detail. Look at the second bullet point, explanation of job role of the current or the last job in detail, all the other in brief. Why? Because when you are going out of a job, or when you have left a job, that means that thing is fresh. And for people with work experience, your last work experience is going to make the basis of your selection. And that is the reason why you need to explain about that work experience in detail, like 4 to 5 bullet points. Rest all must be in brief. And the most important thing is you have to mention about the results which you brought in and the achievements you got while you were working, rather than only talking about your roles and responsibility. Because जब हम work experience के बारे में लिखते हैं, वहां पे हम पहले टाइटल लिखते हैं. Suppose I was a relationship manager, तो relationship manager X company. So उस recruiter जो आपका resume पढ़ रहे हैं, उनको पता है कि relationship manager का काम क्या होता है, उनका roles and responsibility क्या होता है, उनको पता है. लेकिन उनको ये जानना है कि आपने वहां पे उस कंपनी में क्या किया, उस X कंपनी में आपने क्या किया, क्या रिजल्ट लेके आए, क्या आपने अचीव किया. That they want to know. They don't want to know the roles and responsibility. Yes, you can write your roles and responsibility, but that has to be max to max 1 bullet point. The others have to explain about your achievement and results. And that adds more and more power to your resume and increases the probability of your resume getting shortlisted for the next step. I hope I've made this clear, right? And the most important thing is use of power words in this work experience section, which I'm going to be discussing few minutes later. I have a screenshot of the power words, right? And I'm going to be telling you how to use that as well. Now, for the freshers, obviously freshers don't have work experience. Either they're freshly out of college, or they were not working for some time and they now want to work but they have not worked yet. Now, the first advice which I give to all the freshers when I get freshers, when they approach me on LinkedIn, they ask me that what should they do and all. The first thing which I advise is go and do something first, right? Having zero work experience, it's not bad, but at times it backfires. That is the reason why I always advise freshers that kuch na kuch karo. The job which you want to do full time, usi ke related जाके either internship, paid, unpaid, doesn't matter. कुछ internship करो 2-3 months का, या फिर कोई भी part time job. लेकिन do something, gain experience, learn from it, and write that in the work experience section. बन गया आपका work experience, right? और आपको उसी basis पे hire किया जाएगा. बस imagine आप ऐसे बहुत सारे freshers नहीं करते हैं, लेकिन आप अगर fresher हो और आप ये करते हो, तो आपका competitive edge कितना बढ़ जाएगा. आप अपने जो भी कॉम्पिटिटर्स हैं उससे आप कितने आगे रहेंगे अगर आपने अकेले कुछ काम किया है और वर्क एक्सपीरियंस गेन किया है, right? So that's the first advice I give. Second, if at all you don't get an opportunities anywhere or don't get a chance to work and you have to work immediately, then you must focus on the next part, and that is your project work. It might happen that you might have done few projects during your graduation or post-graduation in your college, or you can also take like part-time projects or time limit projects of different companies. There are multiple companies who hire such guys just for 1 or 2 projects. They give the certificate, people learn and they leave. There are multiple US-based companies, European-based companies who are hiring Indian freshers just for project basis. 1 month project खत्म किया, चलो. 2 months का project, पूरा प्रोजेक्ट खत्म करके गाइडेंस, उनका गाइडेंस ऑफ कोर्स मिलेगा, देन डन. So project becomes the most important for the people who are freshers. Now in project, you can write about the title of the project, name of the organization, when did you do it, the duration, and what did you do. That has to be in detail. जैसे कि जिन लोग के पास वर्क एक्सपीरियंस है वो कैसे डिटेल में लिखते हैं, सिमिलरली जो प्रोजेक्ट करते हैं उनको भी ऐसा डिटेल में लिखना है. सो फॉर पीपल विथ वर्क एक्सपीरियंस, देयर एम्प्लॉयमेंट हिस्ट्री का जो इंपॉर्टेंस है उतना ही इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रेशर्स के लिए प्रोजेक्ट वर्क होता है. नाउ people with work experience can also write about project, right? That is also fine if that is relevant to the job you're applying for. जो आप नेक्स्ट जॉब अप्लाई कर रहे हो, जिसके लिए आपने एप्लीकेशन डाला है, उससे अगर रिलेटेड प्रोजेक्ट है तो ही आप उसे मेंशन करें. सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल आप अप्लाई कर रहे हैं सेल्स जॉब के लिए, लेकिन आपने कुछ बिजनेस एनालिटिक्स का कोर्स किया हुआ है और आप उसको मेंशन कर रहे हैं, तो रेलेवेंस का जो रेशियो है बहुत कम होता है, तो फिर वो मैटर नहीं करता. आप उसे लिख देंगे, उसके चलते वो जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन, जो आपका रिलेशनशिप मैनेजर जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन है, उससे मैच नहीं करेगा, एंड इवेंचुअली योर चांसेस ऑफ योर रेज्यूमे गेटिंग शॉर्टलिस्टेड डिक्रीजेस. दैट इज द रीजन व्हाई it has to be relevant. Only write about projects which are relevant. I hope I made this clear. Next, after project, another important thing, educational qualification. You can write about the course which you did, the institute from you graduated, the city, and the year in which you graduated, right? For freshers, you have to write your final percentage, the overall percentage or CGPA, जो भी कॉलेज के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है, यूनिवर्सिटी के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. हमारे कॉलेज में से CGPA था, बोथ मेरा MBA और इंजीनियरिंग में, किसी किसी का फाइनल परसेंटेज होता है, राइट? सो उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. सो एज फ्रेशर्स यू हैव टू मेंशन दैट, बिकॉज उसके एजुकेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन आपका लास्ट है और आपने उतना कुछ काम नहीं किया है अभी तक. अगर कुछ इंटर्नशिप किया हुआ तो वो आप लिख सकते हैं, लेकिन एजुकेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन मैटर करता है उस टाइम, एंड दैट इज द रीजन व्हाई यू नीड टू राइट योर CGPA एज वेल. For people with work experience, there is no need to write about the CGPA or the final percentage, because you are going to get hired basis your work experience. Educational qualification at the end will never matter, right? Next, after educational qualification is about the coursework. That means if you have done any course, not from the college or not from the company, but from outside. Nowadays, multiple edtech companies are offering course, and there are millions and millions of people who are taking up these courses, right? Now, whatever course you do, it is not necessary that आपको वही वाला course लिख ही देना है. Again, I will talk about the relevance part. Only mention when it is relevant. Suppose, like for example, हम जब MBA कॉलेज में थे, तो हमारे कॉलेज के तरफ से एक एडवांस्ड MS एक्सेल का कोर्स करवाया गया था, ठीक है? लेकिन वो MS एक्सेल का कोर्स मेरे जो जॉब में अप्लाई कर रहा हूँ सेल्स में, उसके साथ कोई रेलेवेंस था नहीं. मुझे सर्टिफिकेट भी मिला था, लेकिन कोई रेलेवेंस नहीं था. सो देयर वाज नो नीड ऑफ मेंशनिंग अबाउट MS एक्सेल विद द सेल्स जॉब यू आर अप्लाइंग फॉर, क्योंकि कोई रेलेवेंस है नहीं, तो फिर क्यों मेंशन करना, राइट? ऑल्सो only mention about the coursework if you know about that course in detail. Suppose मैंने MS Excel का कोर्स कर लिया और मुझे पता ही नहीं MS Excel में क्या क्या होता है, बस बेसिक पता है, और वो जो एडवांस चीजें होती हैं, पाइवट टेबल एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, मुझे नहीं पता है. एंड आई हैव रिटन अबाउट दैट, आई हैव डन एडवांस्ड MS Excel कोर्स. देन व्हाट विल हैपन? आप सिलेक्ट हो जाओगे, इंटरव्यू में जाओगे, आपको इंटरव्यू में पूछा जाएगा, आप आंसर नहीं दे पाओगे, गया, इंप्रेशन खत्म. That is the reason why, two things keep in mind. Only write your coursework if it is related to the job you're applying for, and if you are confident about the course, then only you need to write. If you're not confident 100%, please don't write, because that is going to haunt you in the interview. I hope I have made this very, very clear. A lot of job seekers do make this mistake that यार मैंने कोर्स किया तो मैं डाल देता हूँ, शायद सिलेक्ट हो जाऊं. बिल्कुल आप सिलेक्ट हो जाओगे, लेकिन उसके बाद क्या होगा? उसके बाद फिर आप जाओगे तो आपको पूछा जाएगा, फिर आप नहीं बता पाओगे. सो फिर इट डजंट मेक एनी सेंस, राइट? सो यू हैव टू राइट अबाउट रेलेवेंट कोर्स वर्क एंड इफ यू आर कॉन्फिडेंट एनफ. नेक्स्ट, अनदर मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट, which adds a lot of credibility to your resume, and that is skills. Skills भी again मैं वही बात बोलूंगा जो पहले बोल चुका हूं, सिर्फ वही skills mention कीजिए जो उस job description के साथ relevant हो, match करता हो. You are applying for a digital marketing role, जैसे कि मैंने इस digital marketing role के लिए sample resume बनाया था, and that is the reason why मैंने skills में वही skills लिखे हैं जो digital marketing manager के लिए चाहिए रहता है, SEO, SEM, display marketing, social media marketing and all those things. Suppose I write the same set of skills applying for a job in finance domain. What will happen? Straight away rejection of the resume, because what skills are needed over there definitely you are not going to get on the resume, because ये तो digital marketing skills लिखे हैं, आप finance के लिए apply कर रहे हो. And that is the mistake which almost all the job seekers make. एक ही resume बनाते हैं, उस एक ही resume में सब लिखते हैं, and उस एक ही resume के through हर जगह हर job के लिए apply करते हैं. वो they don't even see whether the employment history or their summary or the skill set is even matching with the job description or not, still apply and then reject. And what happens? Again, the same thing which I said, frustration, not getting a job. So that's why only add those skills which are relevant with the job description. And also to keep in mind, ऐसा नहीं है कि जो relevant है वो डाल दो, वो skills आप में होने भी चाहिए. That is also important. अगर डिजिटल मार्केटिंग में ये सारे स्किल्स हैं और आपने लिख दिया और आप में से आपको ये सारी स्किल्स के बारे में पता नहीं है, एसईओ एसईएम क्या है, डिजिटल मार्केटिंग क्या है, कुछ नहीं पता, सोशल मीडिया होता क्या है, कुछ नहीं पता, तो फिर क्या मतलब है? आपने बस देख लिया गूगल में, हाँ चलो ये स्किल्स होते हैं, आपने लिख दिया, doesn't make any sense, right? So that is the reason why relevant skills and the skills which you are confident about and which you know about has to be mentioned. Now the next part is about additional information. Additional information matlab the things which you add other than all these things, which explains a lot about your personality, right? It explains a lot about what you are actually as a human being, not as a corporate employee, but yeah, as a person. And it has to be, again, relevant and correct information. Now, lot of people, they write such kind of additional information. That I was the head boy of the school. I love dancing and singing. Traveling is my passion. They talk about hobbies and interests in their additional information. But my friends, it's an absolute no-no. Absolutely wrong. You cannot write about school stuffs in your resume. School में क्या किया था, उससे नहीं फर्क पड़ता है. I was a captain of the sports team. I was a captain of the sports team. I was this and that. School में जो होना था वो हो गया है, right? It will not make any sense when you are writing it over here when applying for a job, right? Love singing, dancing, traveling is a passion, all those hobbies and interests, you should not mention it on the resume. Hobbies and interest, बहुत सारे resume template में होता है कि आप लिखो, but no, that is not needed. Hobbies and interests are the topics which is to be discussed when you go for an interview. अगर आप सारी चीजें resume में ही लिख दोगे तो फिर इंटरव्यू के पास जाके क्या बातें करोगे? Because you know, right, interview is a two-way conversation, and to have the interview conversation control with you, if you want to have the ball in your court, then you need to have some topics of your own which you are confident about and you can talk about it. And hobbies and interests are the best thing to talk about it. I have seen interviews and I have been through interviews where I have only talked about cricket because I am a cricket enthusiast. I watch cricket, I follow cricket like religiously. And once the cricket discussion starts, I get the confidence and I talk about cricket, all those things, and they also talk. They like to convert, they like to talk about it, and then done, interview done. So I am confident, I got the ball in my court, and that's why I could talk about it. If traveling is a passion, and you've already mentioned about it, then recruiters को पता चल गया, जो आपके इंटरव्यू ले रहे हैं उनको पता चल गया, हाँ चलो इसको ट्रैवलिंग पसंद है, खत्म. उसके बारे में फिर बात क्यों करना चाहेंगे वो? Right? So that is the reason why additional information should not mention all those things. If you want to write additional information, you can write such stuff. If you're awarded something like a gold medal in academic performance or a best speaker award and all those kind of things, then you can mention about it because that displays your personality, right? So for freshers, additional information means such information. अगर नहीं है koi baat nahi, doesn't matter, don't write, it's okay. And for people with work experience, if you have achieved something for the company while working in the company, then वो सारी चीजें आप employment history में work experience में mention करेंगे. But if you have achieved something out of the company, like for example, you are working in a company, but you participated in a Toastmasters competition, you won that award, then you can mention it on the resume as an additional information, right? That's how it should be. Additional information, well, freshers के लिए important होता है, लेकिन इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि आपके पास नहीं है तो आप कुछ भी mention करोगे. Always remember, in case of resume, less is more. And I hope I made this clear. Now, again, another most important part. You can have a look on the screen and you can see the type of words which are written over here. These are power keywords. Have a look at these keywords. There are multiple sections like leadership, consulting, and all those things, right? And accordingly, you have to use these kind of keywords when you are writing a resume. These are the power keywords which you have to use when you are writing about your employment history or you're writing about something related to your additional information. These words will make your resume powerful. These words will enhance the chances of a resume getting shortlisted for the interviews. You can read these words. These are all in past tense. And that is why I said that you have to write about the achievements and the results which you brought for the company instead of writing about roles and responsible. I was responsible for acquiring customers. वो role responsibility है, relationship manager का काम है, वो पूरी दुनिया को पता है. But आपने वहां पे क्या किया? Acquired 50 customers, like acquired 50 high ticket customers and raised a business of 5 CR for the company. Think about this sentence and the sentence which I said before. The credibility, the power of this sentence, acquired 50 customers and brought in a business of 5 CR for the company. That's huge. If you write this sentence, instead of writing, I was responsible for acquiring customers, obviously the one who will write the first, sorry, this one, the acquired 50 customers for a line, he will only get selected, not the other person, right? I hope I've made this very, very clear. Next, another important part, now the parts of the resume are done, the sections of the resume are done. Now let's talk about the formatting guidelines. Now how the resume should look and how the resume should be sent to the recruiter or the person with whom you're in touch with. The font style has to be Arial, the body, or sans serif, which is there in few word softwares, right? Arial is the one which you have to choose. Times New Roman, you can choose, but at times there are few softwares which do not catch the Times New Roman font and they reject the resume. And that is the reason why Arial is the best best font style to go for, right? Font size has to be 10 to 12, minimum 10, max 12. More than 12, space will increase, resume length will go. Less than 10, it will look very small, difficult to read if the recruiter is reading it physically. So, जब आप headline लिखते हो किसी चीज का जो topic, तो उसको 12 रखें और जो उसके नीचे जो content bullet points में लिखते हैं उसको 10. That makes really sense. Alignment has to be completely left aligned, nothing center, nothing right. It has to be completely left. Format of sending the resume has to be PDF. Why people send a resume in Word format, I don't even understand. Because PDF is a non-editable document. No one can edit it, right? If you are sending your resume in Word format, what happens? आप जब मेल करते हो तो ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि जिसने डाउनलोड किया उनके सिस्टम में जो अलाइनमेंट है वो ऊपर नीचे हो सकता है, right? It happens with Word files, it happens because वो editable format, editable document, I'm sorry. तो कोई भी कुछ भी edit भी कर सकता है उसमें, right? So that is the reason why whenever you are writing your resume, obviously you write it on Word, save it as PDF, and then send it. Now the next is the file name of the resume. The file name of a resume must include your full name, first name, last name. Multiple times job seekers, they save it as bus RESUME, resume, or CV. That's it. They save it as that way. Because for them it is okay, क्योंकि उनके सिस्टम में वो एक ही रेज्यूमे है. लेकिन आप जिसको भेज रहे हो रेज्यूमे, उनके सिस्टम में thousands of रेज्यूमे है. एंड अगर आप उसी फाइल को सिर्फ रेज्यूमे का नाम देके फिर सीवी का नाम देके भेज दोगे तो फिर वो तो गुम हो जाएगा ना, राइट. एंड इवेंचुअली अगर आपका रेज्यूमे जितना भी अंदर से अच्छा हो, वो रेज्यूमे कभी सिलेक्ट ही नहीं होगा, क्योंकि जो रिक्रूटर है, हायरिंग मैनेजर है, उनको तो वो रेज्यूमे मिला ही नहीं, आपका नाम ही नहीं दिखा. दैट इज द रीजन व्हाई यू नीड टू सेव इट एज फर्स्ट नेम लास्ट नेम रेज्यूमे, और रेज्यूमे फर्स्ट नेम लास्ट नेम, योर आपका पूरा नाम उसमें मेंशन करना चाहिए. नेक्स्ट, बोल्ड, अंडरलाइन एंड कैप्स अवॉइड एज मच एज पॉसिबल, बिकॉज अगर एक्सेस में यूज करें तो जो सॉफ्टवेयर जो रेज्यूमे फिल्टर करता है, जिसके बारे में हम अभी बात करने वाले हैं, वो सॉफ्टवेयर रेज्यूमे को रिजेक्ट भी कर सकता है. सो वेरी स्पैरिंगली यू हैव टू यूज बोल्ड, अंडरलाइन एंड कैप्स, राइट. इफ एट ऑल इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट देन कैप्स में आप लिख सकते हो, कुछ भी अगर अब्रीविएशन हो या फिर कुछ भी, तो ऑब्वियसली यू विल हैव टू राइट इट, बट यूज इट वेरी वेरी जुडिशियसली. Last but not the least, and a very important point, is no image. You must not add any sort of image in your resume. काफी सारे लोग अपने resume में अपना पासपोर्ट साइज फोटो डालते हैं, कुछ भी फोटो डालते हैं यार. मैंने एक resume देखा where there is a selfie. I mean, how does that make sense? It's a professional thing. You cannot have selfie, right? So image is a complete no-no, correct? You don't want the recruiters to choose you or to reject you based on the way you look. I'm sorry, but that happens. Only in jobs which has the relevance of the way you look, suppose for TV anchor, news anchor, or a TV show host, their image matters. There your styling matters. But 99.9% of the corporate, how the way you look never matters. Your quality matters, your knowledge matters, and the skills matter. And that is the reason why don't add any sort of image. I hope I've made this clear. Next, another most important question which everybody asks, resume कितना लंबा होना चाहिए, कितने पेज का होना चाहिए यार resume? Simple है. If your work experience is less than 10 years, it has to be only one page. I know I might have surprised a lot of people out here, but hear me out. If your if your work experience is less than 10 years, you can write all the information in one page. I met someone last year, I guess, who had 28 years of experience. Right? And I asked him that if you can share a resume with me, updated resume. 28 years of experience he has, and his resume was only one page. He has worked in 6 companies in these 28 years, but still only one page. Why? Because you don't have to write about all the companies you have worked for. In 10 years, it might happen that you have worked for 3 companies, 4 companies, 5 companies, even 8 companies. But you have to write about the employment history of those companies which you have just recently worked. Hardly like the last one or the one before that. Max to max 3 or 4 companies you have to write about in your employment history section or the work experience section. It can, if you have done internship and you feel that that is also important, then again you have to write the internship, but टोटल 4 ही होना चाहिए, उससे थोड़ा सा भी ज्यादा नहीं. Because if you write about more and more companies, first thing first, you are confusing the recruiter, you are confusing the person who is taking your interview as well, right? And when you are mentioning about more and more companies, that has a negative side of it. When a candidate jumps a lot of companies, that has a wrong impression, right? I still remember one thing, where I am a big cricket fan and all, and I'm a huge fan of cricket commentator Harsha Bhogle, right? And Harsha Bhogle is not related, he's a cricket commentator, but he's an IIM graduate. He talks a lot about corporates and all. And once he said, I remember it, that if a candidate is jumping companies very frequently, then his or her resume will directly jump into the dustbin. Then that's the truth. right? So why are you trying to give opportunity to the recruiter to reject your resume? When you are jumping companies, it might happen that it was a necessity. That's why you jumped frequent companies, and that's okay. But you don't need to mention about it. Mention about only those companies which you just worked. Last 3 companies, that's it. First of all, only the last company is going to add more relevance, right? But just for the sake of adding, you can add the one before that and the one before that as well. That's it. No need to add any more. 3 to 4 companies enough. And that's how you will be able to limit your resume to 1 page. फॉन्ट साइज भी कभी कभी जॉब सीकर्स फॉन्ट साइज बड़ा कर देते हैं और 2-3 पेज का बना देते हैं. क्यों करना है? ना आपको हॉबीज एंड इंटरेस्ट डालना है, ना आपको कोई एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन डालना है जो रेलेवेंट ना हो, तो फिर क्यों? And that's how you can limit your resume in just 1 page. And for people who have more than 10 years of experience, obviously they can have 2 page. 1.5 page also is good, but 2 page. No resume, I repeat, no resume, जितना भी ज्यादा एक्सपीरियंस हो, डजंट मैटर, 2 से ज्यादा किसी का भी नहीं होना चाहिए. 20 years of experience हो, 30 years of experience हो, 2 is limit. More than 2 means you are wasting time of recruiter. Like I said earlier, on an average, a recruiter takes only 6 to 7 seconds to go through a resume. 6 to 7 seconds मतलब बस खत्म हो गया, इतना ही. वो सेकंड पेज तक टर्न भी नहीं करेंगे. अगर सेकंड पेज में सारे अच्छे इंफॉर्मेशन होंगे तो क्या करोगे आप? Right? So add important, relevant information in the first page. That's it, right? And I hope I've answered one of the biggest question when it comes to resume, that resume kitna lamba hona chahiye. Tone of the resume, like I've already said, it has to be action oriented. What action you have done, what results you have brought in for the company, what achievements you have gotten. That's how the tone should be of the resume. And power words, use power words. I already shared with you. Yeah, these are the power words you can use. There are multiple power words related to different domains. You can check it out. You can see which one is most suitable, and accordingly you have to use it in your resume, right? Next, a lot of people mention about references in their resume. Reference means what? They write about their manager of the X company or the CEO of the X company. For freshers, they write the name of the head of the department of their college or training and placement officer का नाम नंबर लिख देते हैं. But is reference needed in a resume? Absolutely not. Reference करके resume में कभी कोई भी section नहीं आना चाहिए. Because reference come downstream in your job search process. Your job search process starts from application. Reference कब आता है? रेफरेंस आता है आपके इंटरव्यू के बाद. बिफोर गिविंग यू द ऑफर लेटर एंड आफ्टर टेकिंग योर इंटरव्यू, जो गैप होता है, रिक्रूटर्स चेक योर रेफरेंसेस देन, नॉट बिफोर दैट. सो देयर इज नो नीड ऑफ मेंशनिंग अबाउट योर रेफरेंसेस ऑन योर रेज्यूमे. अदरवाइज अगेन your chances of your resume getting shortlisted gets hampered. I hope I made this clear. Right? So reference बाद में आता है. That's why no need of mentioning it. Template of the resume, right? This is a screenshot which I took few months back, I guess. Yeah. I just randomly typed resume templates and you can see the number of results. There are millions and millions of resume templates you can get in Google when you search about it. Various sites will give you tons and tons of formats. And the only thing that does is confuse the job seeker. Confusion, बस और कुछ नहीं होता है. Finally, you decide कौन सा format pick करना है, कौन सा template लेना है, and then खत्म. That is the reason why you have to choose only one single template, which is simple, the size clear, and that has to be filled with information. Format doesn't matter. Template does not matter. Color of the font, image, बहुत सारे कलर्स होते हैं. कई सारी इमेज में से साइड में ऐसा ब्लू कलर होता है, ग्रीन कलर होता है. Does not matter. What matters is your information which you have written on your resume. Right? For your resume template, keep it really simple. Have one master template, right, which talks about which has all the common information, and then keep on changing the information of the resume as needed as possible. Correct? Right? Now you must be wondering that what this guy is talking. JD के हिसाब से resume change करना पड़ता है. हम तो अभी तक एक ही resume में सारे job के लिए apply कर रहे थे. I know few job seekers must be thinking about this, right? And that's what happens. Let me tell you this very clearly. Don't use only a single resume for applying for all the jobs. You have to use different sorts of resume for different job you're applying for. एक resume जो आप relationship manager के लिए job के लिए apply कर रहे हो, the same resume will not work for a data scientist job or for a digital marketer job. Not going to work, not going to get you selected. That is the reason why, as per the job description, you have to change your resume. I'll talk about it in a few seconds. Last but not the least, your resume has to be short and simple. Like I said, jitna kam, utna acha. Only add relevant information. Relevant means the ones which are relevant to you and the ones which are relevant to the job description you're applying for. Be honest and truthful. Sach bolo. Bilkul bhi bluff. No bluffing in the resume. Be honest, be truthful, and do not bluff. Only write the correct and the true information. Because if you are writing wrong information, if you're lying in your resume, you don't know what's going to happen afterwards. Right? And interviewers are experts. They are much experienced than you are thinking. And they are more smarter than you think them as smart. Don't think yourself that ये तो कुछ नहीं है यार, इसको तो मैं अभी आटे में लेता हूँ और अभी interview clear. No, interviewers are way smarter and experienced than you. They will immediately catch if you're lying on a resume or not. That is the reason why be truthful, be honest, and do not bluff at all. I think I've made this very clear now. Now the question which we were talking about, should you apply for all the jobs with one single resume? Absolutely not. Why? Reason? Applicant tracking system. Now, what do you mean by applicant tracking system? Very simple. Applicant tracking system is actually a software that is used by recruiters for scanning resume. You can now go to any job portal, be it a LinkedIn, Naukri, Shine, Monster. You will see a job where multiple applicants have applied for, hundreds, thousands, 5,000 applicants भी apply करते हैं वो इस एक job post के लिए, right? So do you really think the recruiter is going to read all those hundreds and thousands resumes physically एक एक करके ऐसे ऐसे? No, they're not going to do that. So what these big companies, almost all the MNCs and now startups are also doing it as well, that they are getting this applicant tracking system software. Now what they do, whatever resume they get for a job description, they upload all the resumes to that ATS. Done. Then they will do what? They will enter the keywords that they are looking for in the resume. Correct? वो सारे keywords जो उनको चाहिए एक resume में, वो सारे keywords वो डाल देते हैं applicant tracking system में, and they run a search. What applicant tracking system will do right now, like this, like the image you can see over here. These are the applicants. आपने resume डाला, right? You uploaded in the job portal. Recruiter ने सारे के सारे resume डाल दिए applicant tracking system में. Applicant tracking system में फिर सारे के सारे keywords डाल दिए. Once all the keywords are done, they will run a search process and see. The ATS will give you the filtered candidates. Now ATS ने ये कैसे किया? Simple. वो एक मशीन है, ह्यूमन तो है नहीं, उसको जो बोला जाएगा वो वही करेगा. उसको रिक्रूटर ने बोला कि भाई देख, इतने रेज्यूमे हैं, मुझे ये 10 कीवर्ड्स चाहिए और 20 रेज्यूमे चाहिए. दैट्स इट. द नंबर ऑफ रेज्यूमे भी सिलेक्ट कर सकते हो. उतना उन्होंने डिसाइड करके डाल दिया, एप्लीकेंट ट्रैकिंग सिस्टम ने रन किया एंड इवेंचुअली एप्लीकेंट ट्रैकिंग सिस्टम ने 20 मोस्ट सुटेबल रेज्यूमे को फिल्टर करके रिक्रूटर को बोला कि देखो ये है आपके 20 बेस्ट एप्लीकेंट्स. बाकियों के क्या हुआ? रिजेक्टेड. Now imagine for one job post, thousands of people have applied. बट रिक्रूटर को क्या चाहिए, मेरे को बस 25 ही चाहिए, मैं 25 रेज्यूमे खुद रीड करेंगे हम, एंड देन विल कॉल ओनली 10 कैंडिडेट्स फॉर इंटरव्यू, एंड आउट ऑफ द 10 विल हायर मैक्स 2 or 3 whatever, जो भी. All the 1000 resume will be uploaded in the ATS, keywords will be entered, 25 applications needed, running search, done, 25 applicants, baki jo bacha all rejected. Understood? And that is the reason why you need to beat the ATS. Your resume need to beat the ATS. Your resume need to be filtered by the ATS. आपका जो resume है उसे इस applicant tracking system को select करना ही करना है. And for that to happen, you have to customize a resume as per the job description. I hope I have made this very, very clear. Now you must be thinking कि okay, ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. अब हम ऐसा resume customize करके कैसे बनाएं जो कि job description के साथ match करता हो? Answer is very, very simple. You have to search for relevant keywords from the job description, because whichever job you apply for, you will have a job description. Be it in any job portal or LinkedIn, you will have a detailed job description mentioned. You have to identify the major keywords from that job description and write it and mention it on your resume. How to do that? I will tell you now. For that, we need to jump off the presentation and I will show you how to do it. We have two very simple softwares, right? Let me check. No, that's it. Okay. Yeah. The first thing is online word cloud generator. Now, this is a very great website where you can get to know about the words which are actually mentioned in the job description, and according to that you can create your resume. How to do that? Let me tell you. Let us pick a job description for LinkedIn. For that, let's log into LinkedIn, linkedin.com. Here it is. Yeah, LinkedIn is here. We'll go to job section. Let us see. Okay, let's search for data scientist. I was just running a sample search few hours back, so that's why it's there. Okay, so we will. This one is not good. Let's see a detailed one. Okay, yeah, you can see the job description out here. Complete job description starting from, see the job description. What you have to do, you have to copy paste the entire job description. एकदम पूरा सारा का सारा job description आप copy करेंगे up till here. Next is COVID-19 consideration, which are not needed. We'll copy it to your clipboard. Then what you will do, we'll go to wordclouds.com, right? No need to sign up or anything, right? You have to go to word list section, go to extracts words from text. Go over here and simply paste the entire job description. हमने क्या किया, हम LinkedIn पे गए, एक नॉर्मल जॉब ढूंढा डेटा साइंटिस्ट का, उसके जो भी जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन है उसको हमने कॉपी करके यहाँ पे पेस्ट किया. एंड नाउ व्हाट वर्ड क्लाउड्स विल डू, वर्ड क्लाउड सॉफ्टवेयर इज स्मार्ट इनफ दैट वो पूरा का पूरा अभी जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन को स्कैन करके हमको बेस्ट कीवर्ड्स ढूंढ के देगा विद इन सेकेंड्स. 1 मिनट भी नहीं लगा हमको. एंड सी वी हैव गॉट द डेटा. This is in shape. Obviously, you can see data word being used the most, experience being used the most, analytics being used the most. But अगर आपको जानना है कि कितना frequently use हुआ है, you have to go again to the word list. You have to go to the edit part, and there you go. You have got the entire list of words which have been used and how frequently they have been used. The word data has been used 19 times in the job description. That means it becomes really, really important to use the word data. Experience, analytics, financial, whatever the word is. Now you have got a list of words which have been used. And now as per your own convenience, you have to choose the words from here and write these words, mention these words on your resume. You can also save this one. If you want to, you can go to file or you can go to word list out here. You can also import from CSV file. You can do that as well, right? But if, sorry, yeah, you can look around and you can see from here as well. You can get the words. Now, अब ऐसा मत करना कि जितने सारे वर्ड्स मोर फ्रीक्वेंटली यूज हुए हैं वो सबको जबरदस्ती आप रेज्यूमे में मेंशन कर दो, डेटा 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 करके भर दो. नो, दैट इज आल्सो नॉट राइट. इट विल मेक द एटीएस कंफ्यूज. वो एटीएस कंफ्यूज हो जाएगा कि यार इतने बार डेटा क्यों यूज किया है. एंड इफ यू डू दैट, एटीएस विल डाउट योर रेज्यूमे. एंड व्हेन यू आर doing it, then there are chances that your resume might get rejected. That is the reason why you have to decide that how many times you want to use those words. Accordingly, prepare for it, see those words, right? And then use those words. I hope I made this very clear. It's a freemium software. You don't need to sign up or anything. Go to the website wordclouds.com. You can search it on Google as well, word clouds. Go to this, do as per as I said, and then you can get the number of words for that. I hope I made this very, very clear. The next software which I'm going to be talking about is another very, very great software which I really like the most is this one, that is Job Scan. Now Job Scan, what this website does, ये वेबसाइट आपको आपके रेज्यूमे का और आपके जो जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन के जो आप अप्लाई कर रहे हो उसके दोनों का मैच आपको बता के देगा कि आपका जो वेबसाइट है, सॉरी आपका जो जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन है जिसके लिए आप अप्लाई कर रहे हो वो आपके रेज्यूमे के साथ कितना मैच खाता है. नाउ जस्ट फ्यू आवर्स बैक मैंने उस डेटा साइंटिस्ट वाले जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन के साथ अपना एक सैंपल रेज्यूमे का सर्च रन किया एंड सी आई जस्ट गॉट 17% मैच. Because my sample resume was the one which was for digital marketing, the one which I created, which I showed you in the presentation. Digital marketing के लिए क्या तो obvious सा बात है, data scientist के role के साथ match करेगा ही नहीं, right? So what you can do, you can simply create your account. It's a premium thing. You don't need to go for upgraded plan and all, right? Then you have to upload your resume over here. You have the option upload your resume. It has to be PDF. Don't go for Word file. Upload a resume out here. Then paste the job description as we did from any of the job portal, and then you have to scan. Then post scanning, within seconds job scan software will tell you कि कितना मैच करता है आपका resume with the job description you're applying for. Correct? Now कितना % match होना चाहिए? Well, obviously people will say 100%, but no, it is almost close to impossible to have 100% match. Best match is 55 to 75% of the match, right? कि अगर आपका job description and your resume is 55% to 75% similar, then that's good resume. Beyond 75, it's great. Below 50, not good, not good. 40, 45, still 45 is still manageable, but anything below that, that means there is some issue. There is some issue that it is not matching, and there are high chances, high probability that your resume will get rejected. I hope I've made this very, very clear, right? Match 55 to 75%. Anything below than that, high chances of the resume getting rejected. Anything above 75, well and good, right? Now that's about how you can create your, and that's how you can create a customized resume for every job description. Now I'll show you 2 samples of resume which I created over here. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah. Now you can see over here, this is a sample resume which I created for, this is for a different kind of job role. This is for the digital marketing job role, which I was talking about in the presentation. There's a sample resume which I created, and this is for another different role, that is for a customer success representative. I created 2 sample resumes of the same person. Now this is the first one I created. Now you can see over here the summary. Summary is talking about me and about the skills which is needed for digital marketing. Now let's check the summary for the resume which I created for customer success. It is different. It is not even talking about anything that was mentioned in the first resume. Why? Same person, same applicant, but different summary. Why did I do that? Because I wanted my resume to get shortlisted for these two job roles. I hope I made this clear. That is the reason why you need to have different sorts of resume for different job descriptions, right? I wrote a two, three line summary, that's it. But दोनों resume में इंसान सेम है लेकिन summary अलग. क्यों? क्योंकि ये जो summary है ये मुझे customer success representative के role के लिए select होने में help करेगा, and ये वाला जो है ये मुझे एक digital marketer role के लिए help select होने के लिए मदद करेगा, and that's the reason why different. Now the next part, I will talk about the skills again. See, skills again, ये सारे digital marketing related skills हैं, इसलिए मैंने digital marketing वाले resume में ये सारे skills लिखे हैं. But when it comes to customer success representative, see, the skills are different. I'm talking about communication skills, people skills, organization skills, and all those things. Why? Because these skills are much needed when you are applying for customer interaction kind of a role. I have also mentioned about the language, because the language Hindi and English was mentioned in that resume twice or thrice. Because the company, I just saw the description, I saw that, okay, they want someone who can also speak in Hindi, because customers, not all customers can speak in English, right? That is the reason why I also mentioned about English, Hindi, and my mother tongue, that is Odia. That's how I made the difference. For two job descriptions, I made two different resumes. Now, let me go to the work experience part. Now you can see over here the work experience which I have written. I have written about the roles and responsibility of different job desks for different roles which I did. Analysis of sales data, data inputting of sales, handling issues, objections, cold calling and graduate. It is only talking about the roles and responsibilities which I had. It is not talking about what I did, right? Also, if you see the next one, the Geo-Creative Labs one. See, brainstorming of ideas for different advertising companies, providing AR and VR solutions and all those things I've written. But it is not the right way. Like I said, you have to use power words. You have to use it in the way as if you have done something. It has to be in the tone of the resume should be action oriented and use of power words. And that is the reason why if you look at this resume, look what I have written. Solved customer problems, gathered customer feedback, analyzed sales data. That's how I've written. See, conducted secondary research, developed and presented different advertising campaign. I have used power words for writing on my resume. Now, which resume has the maximum chance of getting selected? Well, this one. Why? Because this resume is talking about the results which I brought in, the work which I did. It is not talking about the roles and responsibility which I mentioned in the first resume. And that's how your resume should be. And you wanted, and if you like to have a look at the template, well, this is one of the best templates for resume. It's quite simple. It's completely only black and white, no font color of different, nothing, just simple information. All the information included in one page. Personal information, summary, work experience, skills, education, every detail mentioned in just one page. One of the best samples, right? A lot of people have used this sample and believe me, the resume has got selected. Why? Because कोई तामझाम नहीं है, कोई confusion नहीं है, कुछ clumsy नहीं है, nothing. It's just pure information. That's it, right? Your information has the power. Your quality, your value has the power to get you selected, not the colors, not the images, right? I hope I've made this very, very clear. So I hope I was able to add some value. I will stop sharing now. Yeah. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much for patiently listening to me. And I hope I made every detail very, very clear. And now it's time for your queries and doubts. If you have any queries in any of the parts which I just discussed or any resume, please feel free to ask the questions and doubts.